to the Fundamentals podcast, where we talk all things sports from a fan's perspective. This is an opinion-based show. If you don't like our opinion, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the returning listeners or watchers and stuff. What's up, Adrian? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm chilling, man.
Chilling.
Another day.
Yeah.
Another day of work.
Yeah. Feel that.
Bro.
Yeah. Well, this week, we're gonna talk about some of this NFL seeding playoff picture shaping up. We're gonna talk about some of the teams that could win in week 15. We're gonna talk about some of the teams that are peeking in that have a slight chance. And we're gonna talk about some of the teams that are in there, that look like they solid teams, but I ain't sold on them yet. We also going some of this Jalen Hurts stuff. I think. Well, before we get to that, this is gonna be the second week in a row where we start out with our Y'all Must Have Forgot. For the people that don't know, we do a segment called Y'all Must Have Forgot, where we highlight players that people don't often talk about enough, and we give their accolades, their stats, and stuff like that. This week, I would love to do one of my favorite highlight reels to go back and watch. I'm talking about Mr. Baron Davis. Okay.
Diddy.
Yes. If you don't know Baron Davis, two-time NBA All-Star. All right. He led the NBA in steals twice. He was drafted third overall pick. Huh?
So that's a stat I didn't know about.
Yes. He was drafted in the third overall pick, 1999 NBA draft by the Charlotte Hornets. He played for the Hornets, Warriors, Clippers, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks, and played college basketball at UCLA. He was a highlight reel at UCLA too.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a beast. Underrated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing: he was a point guard. He was 6'3". Like that's what they have him listed at, 6'3", 6'4", right? But the way he used to fly, bro. If you want to see a solid highlight reel, and don't get it twisted, like he could shoot all of that. Like it wasn't just the dunking. It's available.
Yeah.
So
man, I like that pick. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we got. Gary has joined us. I'm glad to see you, man. How you doing?
It's good to be seen. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good.
I love you talking. Yeah. I love hearing about that. I remember those Don Nelson Golden State Warriors days with Baron Davis. That was one of the funnest teams I remember watching in a long time. That was those teams were they played just hard basketball.
I want to say they started the small ball.
They played so hard and they were moving so fast. That was a different style of basketball.
They started the small ball era.
Yeah, that was some up tempo.
Tallest guy they had was what? Al Horford? I mean, not Al Horford. Al Harrington. I think that was the tallest. One of the tallest guys they had on the team, and he's only like 6'9". Yeah, that was what. Yeah, that Golden State team was dope.
Oh yeah, it was fun to watch. Okay, we are starting to shape up the playoffs a little bit. It's week 15, right? We got some teams that if they win this weekend, they're in, right? New England is one of those teams. Denver Broncos is one of those teams. The Rams, Los Angeles Rams is one of those teams. We also have some teams that are in the hunt. They're looking in, like some teams that just aren't going away. The Cowboys are one of those teams. Weirdly enough, on the low, Miami technically still has a chance, right? We haven't talked about
trip.
Miami.
That one's a trip too.
Yeah, that's so weird to me to think that Miami still has a chance of
Yeah.
You thought they were left for dead early in the season, boy.
Right.
But they went on a little winning streak, so kudos. They beat who they got on their schedule. They didn't really play a lot of hard teams, but you win who's on your schedule.
The thing is they're in division with Buffalo and New England, And Buffalo, I'm still not so sold with them, right? Like, because if you go back and look at them last weekend, they played Cincinnati, and if not for Joe Burrow throwing that pick six, I don't think Buffalo wins that game, right? Like,
it didn't look good for him.
It didn't look good for him. But, the AFC, there's still so many teams in the hunt. I mean, you still have, Cincinnati's pretty much out. Like last week, there was a sliver of hope. But you got you still got Baltimore. They can, Pittsburgh.
Slim margin of error for Baltimore.
You're right. It's a slim margin of error because Pittsburgh is night and day. They've been night and day this season, right? So there's still 4 games left, 3 games left for some teams. 4 games,
3 or 4.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. You have the Chargers. They're on the cusp. They're in the middle. They're floating there. And here's the thing. We're saying this about teams that really actually have decent records, but the season has just been so competitive. The NFC is even crazier. Like, think about this. There's a chance for teams with really, really, really solid records not making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Sure.
You have to look at the NFC North. You got to look at with Detroit, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, and
that was a shocker. That was kind of a shocker for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that game came.
Patriots.
That game against Green Bay last weekend that they had, that was just that game changes one game changed so many positions for them. They were number 1 in the NFC going into that game.
Yeah,
and then they lost, and it put the Rams back.
Yeah.
You have
the Cowboys, they're still in it.
They're still in it. Right?
Yeah, they got a margin. They got a slim margin, but
small,
it's still there.
It's a chance.
They got a pulse.
Yeah. Yeah. And Philly is not doing themselves any favors.
No, they're shooting themselves in the foot big time.
Yes, they are. They're not doing themselves any favors. Seattle is looking so good.
Yeah.
Seattle's the team that you fear, right? Seattle's the team that you fear. That's the team you don't want to see in the playoffs.
Cool. Yeah, because they can cause a lot of problems with that defense they got.
And
that defense they got is really
the defense they have. The offense is pretty much firing on all cylinders. The special teams is really good. They just have a well-balanced team. San Francisco, look, shout out to Robert Saleh because he's been able to make that defense still operate with all of those injuries.
But that's what he's supposed to do. That was his specialty.
People are not able to do that when they have that. Generally, that doesn't happen when you're missing that many defensive components. But he has made a way. He has made a way for that defense for San Francisco to keep them in games and be relevant and that they're another team that they can, they get in, they can cause some problems. So one of the first things I kind of wanted to talk about was, first of all, I know Cam Newton has gone and apologized and changed his narrative, but one of the things that I said after the Super Bowl last year, Adrian, remember I said that was the ultimate team win, right? Yeah. And I got some backlash because I didn't feel like Jalen Hurts was top 7, top 8, because to me, he doesn't win you games. You need the perfect, the offensive line has to be firing on all cylinders. The defense has to be firing on all cylinders. You need a run game, right? And other than that, he's just a game manager, which is exactly what Cam Newton said. And Cam Newton got a lot of backlash. But if you go back and look at Jalen Hurts' numbers this year, he looks exactly like a game manager. And he's looked exactly like a game manager prior to Saquon Barkley, in my opinion. Even when you look at last year, it's easier to look better when you have that kind of run game. But if you look at this season, he's thrown for 2,700 yards. He's got a 64% completion rating, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 103 QBR. I mean, when you look at that over this season of quarterbacks in the league that are throwing for so many touchdowns, and to me, I don't know what y'all see, but to me, I see a game manager, right? He's not the guy that goes out and wins you games unless it's the perfect storm. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think we talked a lot last year, Will, about how I think Barkley should have been considered more for the most valuable player. And now this year that he's not performing as high as he did last year, the Eagles aren't as good as they are as they were last year. And and Hurts, he's playing about the same as he was last year, except this year he doesn't have an MVP category running back on his team, and I think it's starting to show. And when they put it on his shoulders, it's not always, it's not always going to turn out so well for him. So I agree with you totally.
Yeah. I mean, y'all both hit it on the nail right on the head. I mean, when you really think about how Philly's always been constructed, they've always had like a good, decent running team. Like even before they got Saquon Barkley, they used to have Kenneth Gainwell and can't think of his name, the other guy that was back there, but they used to run by committee. You know what I'm saying? So they've always held a good run game to kind of support Jalen Hurts. Making him pass. Now, I will give some credit to the faults that they have to the new offensive coordinator. I'll definitely do that. Forcing him to pass the ball. We're seeing what happens when you're making him be the one to beat you or try to beat you.
Right.
I've seen, like, when I was watching him the other day, I was like, okay, there's a couple of bad reads, and that ended up being picked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you kind of hurting yourself here. And then, it was a weird play with the double fumble, with the pick and then the fumble. That was kind of weird. So, it is what it is.
Turning it over twice in one play.
Yeah, but overall, he just didn't some of them good defensive reads. You know what I'm saying? Really just good defensive plays, like the pick at the end of the game. That was a nice tip.
That was
you know what I'm
incredible
saying?
effort.
Because when you're looking at that whole entire play, the guy was open. The dude made a nice play on the ball and was able to get his hand on it. So, certain things happen. It is what it is on that one. But that pick where he tried to force it to A.J. Brown over the middle, it was just like the lineman literally he was in your view. You know what I'm saying? You still, it's like almost like you telegraphed where you was throwing.
He did.
Yeah, and they got that pick. They got another pick later on in the game doing the same thing. You trying to force it in. And it's just like he's making decisions that you wouldn't think of I guess that top 5 quarterback. But then again, some of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league now, they do make those mistakes. I mean, Josh Allen has known to be doing stuff like that and doing too much. But Jalen Hurts, he's not doing too much. He's just not reading. He just didn't read plays well. There's a difference.
But that's it. The Bills need Josh Allen to do remarkable stuff to win.
Yeah,
and the Eagles just need Jalen Hurts to manage. I mean, calling him a game manager, that's what the Eagles need because they're so good. Their defense is so solid. They've got so many weapons.
Yeah.
All he has to do is just not mess up.
Agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like, I don't think the thing is, like, the game manager thing, it has such a negative connotation, but it's not a bad thing. Like, Tom Brady was a game manager, and look, and I can say this now, as much as I hated the New England Patriots at that time when Tom Brady was there in the Bill Belichick era, I would be a fool to not look at Tom Brady as possibly the GOAT, right? Like, I'd
right.
be, you can't deny that. As much as I disliked him, I would be a fool. No matter if we talk about the deflate gate and the spy gate and all those different things, leave those out of it, and it does not change who Tom Brady was as a quarterback. Yeah. His pocket presence and poise and what he's been able to do historically is like elite. It's GOAT material. It's GOAT.
Yeah, you just
right?
can't
And
deny it. You
you
really
can't
can't deny it.
you can't deny it. No matter how much you hate the Patriots or how much you dislike Tom Brady, you cannot deny GOAT status of Tom Brady. And
Sure.
and that he would, but he was a game manager. And here's the thing: when people say, "Well, Tom Brady could win you a game," well, Tom Brady here's the difference. Tom Brady understood what he had and he knew how to utilize every piece of his
Yeah.
offense
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
most
in a
definitely.
way
Mm-hmm.
to manage the game to where we could win. He understood every
Mm-hmm.
aspect and every piece and how to utilize it, right? And that's what Jalen Hurts has to do
Sure.
to become that status, in my opinion. Yes, he is a
Agreed.
game manager. I didn't understand why Cam Newton got so much backlash for calling
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts
No.
a game manager. I st- I stand by it. This year, this earlier this season, before the season started, Adrian, you remember we talked about it, and I felt
Yeah.
like no, Jalen Hurts is not like a top 7 or top 8 to me. He's still not a top 7 or top 8. I stand by that. I stood by that, and look, can that change in the future? Yeah, but
Of course.
this year, like even if we're gonna talk, people are gonna bring up the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna say the same thing. That was the ultimate team win. If you go back and watch that
Oh
game,
yeah.
ultimate team win. That was the perfect storm, right? Perfect storm. Offensive line was on. The defense was crazy that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Philly's
they really
defense
was.
was
That defense
Yeah.
was really in
insane.
there. They was
Yeah.
in
Right.
their bag.
Right. And so there you go. So that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, that's my take on it. That's what I believe. That's my opinion on it, and it is what it is. Um,
Yeah. I
I
like the comparison to Tom Brady because for most of Tom Brady's career, we were talking about how, yeah, he's good, but he's no Peyton Manning.
yeah,
And meanwhile, Peyton Manning's like racking up MVPs, but Brady's racking up Super Bowls, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about how he's not going to win a championship or win a game, that's fine. He's not going to lose one either. And
yeah,
I think
Right.
it's more important not to lose games than it is to go out there trying to win games because that
yeah,
means you're already behind if you have to go out there and win a game. Brady had, the mastermind that Belichick is, even though he's kind of fallen on weird times right now. But,
yeah,
That's not it.
he
That's
put,
not his recruit. That's not his
th-
class in
no,
North
that
Carolina.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to hold that against him. I still think he's one of the best coaches ever. And that's because he put Brady into such good circumstances to
Yeah.
win games. And he put
hmm
those weapons. He knew Brady so well that he knew the type of players to give him. And Brady
yeah,
made the most of it. And I think Hurts could do the same thing if he listened, to Sirianni. I think, that they've got that defense made Kelsey and Mahomes look so bad during the Super Bowl
Yes, they
last year.
did.
yeah,
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
they
my
did.
goodness.
They
I
made
mean,
them
I
look
don't think
average.
I don't think they've recovered from it since. I mean, just listening to Travis Kelsey on his podcast the other day, I mean, that
hmm
dude's deflated. That dude, I mean, I think
he
he's
is.
seriously having second thoughts about why he came back this year
Yeah, he's done
because
after this year. I
because
think he's done.
I
It's
think
time.
this
It's time
this year
anyway.
is a continuation. The Super Bowl is when it began, and it's
hmm
just been continuing
It's
now.
carried. Yeah,
And the Eagles are the ones that made that began that deflatement.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
I
hard.
wish it was my 49ers
Sure.
2 times in a row, but it is what it is. Whoa, not too much. Y'all do a little too much laughing though. We ain't gonna
You
go
know I'm gonna
there.
laugh. You know I'm
We
gonna laugh.
ain't gonna go there. Y'all doing too much laughing.
It's you brought up Kansas City. I'm glad you brought that up. It's great segue into the question that I wanted to ask. We've often heard Patrick Mahomes being talked about as the possible new GOAT. That's just crazy talk to me. That's a stretch, and I know what he's been able to do over the last few years and all of that. But throughout in Tom Brady's tenure, right, like in his career, we've not seen a drop off, regardless of who was on the roster, who they lost, who they acquired. We've not necessarily seen a drop off. We've it's been consistent, right? Like one thing was for sure, like we were gonna go to the playoffs, right? And we, the amount of Super Bowls that he has won, right, more than any franchise, him,
Yeah, literally.
And so given this season, because I don't, Kansas City is not going to the playoffs. Look, they're not going to the playoffs.
I don't believe they make it.
I don't. There's no chance.
Yeah. So with that said, does this put to rest the possibility of Patrick Mahomes being the next GOAT? Because there was a lot of talk about that, given the things that he was doing, and they were like, "It's Patrick Mahomes' neck." Like we can say he's a good player, but for me, the GOAT conversation's over now, right? In my opinion.
It's still early, I think, so far.
He's young, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's only been the starting quarterback for 6 or 7 years, and he's gone to at least the AFC Championship game each one of those years. And that's kind of what Brady was doing. I know the Patriots, the one time they didn't go to the playoffs while he was there was the year that he tore up his knee. So,
right. And that was earlier in his career.
Yeah, that was earlier. They're going to have to rebuild. Definitely. Yes. I think they're in a rebuilding. They did have so many of his weapons were out this year. With that, kid that got into the legal trouble at the beginning of the season and stuff. And their defense hasn't looked as good this year as well. So, but I think there might be a chance because I think Mahomes is that good. I've seen him do some crazy stuff, but
that's a fact.
But Brady is just on another. I mean, there's so much that he showed us over the course of his career that Mahomes would have to do this for about 10 more years in order to even come close.
And that's the thing, right? Like, looking at it from that standpoint, like, it is still early for Mahomes. He's got what is it? 3 Super Bowls now, ain't he?
Mm-hmm. 3.
Yeah, it's 3 Super Bowls. As young as he's been in the Super Bowl every year except for 1 year since he started.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I ain't seen a quarterback ever do that.
That's impressive. Yeah,
that's impressive. So you got 3. You was about to be on a 3-peat. You're on the cusp of a 3-peat, which would have never been done in NFL history. This is a down year for the team as a whole. I will say one thing: when you see like Kansas City's woes that they're having, I'm not looking at Mahomes and saying Mahomes is playing bad, because I just watching the game the other day. Kelsey's dropping balls, people are dropping balls. Mahomes doing things with his feet a lot more than he's usually had to. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're really putting the whole thing together, it's like, I'm happy Kansas City is not, on the verge of going back to the playoffs. But at the same time, it's kind of like I'm looking at it from a standpoint, I'm not putting anything on Mahomes like that, because, we could look at other teams and be like, well, look at Josh Allen in Buffalo. He's always put a team on his back. But Mahomes did that last year. He kind of pulled that whole Kansas City. We was thinking they looked terrible. I mean, how many times you seen a team win like 10 straight games of 1 point? You know what I'm saying? Like one score games. Like, they've got the record, and we weren't even thinking. You were looking at it, and it's like, well, this looks like the year that they might just get beat, and they still found ways to win. This is one of those years to where, unfortunately for them, luck don't always, at some point in time, Lady Luck is going in. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep being lucky and getting those things. Eventually, it's going to come to a head, and we're seeing that. But they got some young players on their squad. Some players are kind of aging out. Like, I think Kelsey right now, he's kind of on the verge of being out the door more than he is looking like he's going to be coming back for more. So
I think this is his last year.
And that's kind of how I'm feeling too. So when I'm looking at Mahomes himself, he's still got, depending on how long he plays, he's not even 30 yet. Is he 30? I think he might be like 28 or something like that. 29.
He's like 29.
So you're like 28, 29. You got 3 Super Bowl rings already. You done been to almost your whole entire career. So it's like, what happens if they get back and they retool, and now he's back in the Super Bowl again next year. Now he's in the Super Bowl again the year after that, and he's winning more Super Bowls. So what ends up happening if he was to win 3 more Super Bowls?
Yeah,
we know Brady got 7, but when he got 6, and then the resume he's producing is impeccable. So you know what I'm saying? He's got the Super Bowls, he's got MVPs. It's kind of like
it's kind of gonna be like the Jordan LeBron conversation.
Yeah, you can gotta say that.
Yeah.
Just in this sense, if he was to win like that, now I would think he needs to win more. Of course, he has to get at least 5. You have to have at least 5. Match somebody 3, 4, 5 of them. I would say get about those, and then we could start really putting you in that GOAT conversation with Brady, because now that's showing that in football, 7 Super Bowls. 7. Nobody's ever, not even a franchise has done it. 7 Super Bowls. I don't like Tom Brady. I've never been a Tom Brady fan. but 7 Super Bowls. Let's just put this in perspective. 6 with one team, and then you go to a brand new team and win one.
And get another one.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a whole different regime. You win one.
Yeah.
And so, you gotta give it to him. And no matter what, you got now, I got asterisks on a couple of Super Bowls because he should have been in a few of them. One in particular that I could, they got tucked under a rule. That one.
The Oakland AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So
that's the first one. Yeah,
that was the first one. So
and the Atlanta one.
He shouldn't have won the Atlanta one either, because Atlanta should have played better. But they boneheaded thing. The second one against Seattle, they shouldn't have won that one against Seattle.
Oh, sure. That was a bad call by the coach. Yeah.
So we're looking at a lot of them where you're like, he couldn't have, but they won, so you can't take it from them. So it is what it is. But 7's crazy. 7's crazy, and they dominated the dominated the AFC for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Mahomes is on that path, but he's got to get, because of Brady and the greatness that they have been. I'm looking at it like, okay, you got to get at least 4 to 5 before I'm starting to really be like, okay, we can have this conversation, because 7 is crazy. You got more Super Bowls than any franchise. That's crazy. I'm mad because, technically speaking, my franchise should have 8 Super Bowls right now, and we lost the last 3 we've been in. I'm kind of salty today, but we would have been 8. We would have been 8-0, but
no, I ain't even gonna bring it up. I was gonna say something about the 49ers, but I ain't gonna leave it alone.
Not too much, B. Will.
I was just talking. Okay. No, but we're talking about quarterbacks, and I have like a really, really like super serious question, right? So here's the deal, right? I look at somebody like Matthew Stafford, and you look at his numbers, and you look at what he's able to do. How is it that people still question whether he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Like, how is that?
Stupid is the stupid does.
Right? Yeah, I wouldn't pay attention.
Because, you know what I mean?
Now
there's still questions.
I don't. Now, if he never won the Super Bowl, even then, I'm still looking at it like he's still a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
He's still considered one of the top quarterbacks that ever played the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, at this point in time, it's especially when they're giving Hall of Fame out for people that have less stats. You got people like, I don't know, Eli Manning that's being considered to be in a Hall of Fame. If I was to look at that, if you gave me Eli and be like, well, he won 2 Super Bowls, and then you gave me Matt Stafford, who got 1, I'm still taking Stafford over Eli, because I'm looking at, from a number standpoint, Stafford's just been on bad teams with some of those Detroit squads. Yeah. But to produce like he produced on those teams, you can't knock him. You can't lock him out of the Hall of Fame. He's the first ballot to me.
I think one of the coolest stats I ever heard was the top 2 receiving yardage seasons in NFL history. One was
Both
Calvin
Matthew
Johnson,
Stafford.
the other was Cooper, and
Yep.
Matt Stafford was Cooper Kupp, and Matt Stafford was the quarterback throwing to both of them. He you can put him, if he would have stayed in Detroit, he would have been another Barry Sanders. He would have been another.
That's a fact. I agree.
Yeah.
It would have been another tragic Detroit story of a person who really didn't ever get a real shot at a Super Bowl. And then when he got his shot, he won. So he went to a solid team with a solid coach and solid supporting cast, and he won it all. So
had Cooper Kupp, and had Puka Nacua
exactly.
Had he not missed a couple games this season due to injury, you would be potentially looking at a third one. And Adams is leading the league in touchdowns this year.
I mean, he's getting a lot of them 1 yard red zone joints. Let's not do that.
But they can't. Let's not do
stop
that.
But let's not do that though. No, we're not gonna do that though. We ain't gonna do that though. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. We know that he's like even when they came out with the stat, it's like Adams is like one of the top red zone wide receivers ever.
Stop
it. But we ain't gonna do that though. We ain't gonna do that.
Y'all couldn't stop him.
I ain't gonna do that. Well, that's fine. We beat y'all before. Whether we stopped them or not, we gotta win in SoFi Stadium.
You did.
With the broken squad.
That fumble on the 1 yard line.
I don't care that's a good defensive play.
Yet.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We've been broke all. We beat you with a backup quarterback, and we've been beat up all year long. So we could talk about the handicap that y'all had then. We've been beat up all year long. I wasn't gonna mention
the fact it's been 40 years since y'all won a Super Bowl.
Oh, 40? No, not 40. It's 30. Yeah.
Since we won, of course. But at least we've been to 3 of them.
Yeah, but it's been 30 years since y'all won.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'd rather it's been. Hey, we got there though.
No, next season we'll make 30.
Yeah, we got there though. That's all that matters to me. All that matters to me. I mean, you just happy now that y'all finally riding a high horse and finally can get a Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
Since our last Super Bowl, Super Bowl, it took y'all a long time before y'all can get y'all first one. So I ain't worried about it. We didn't have 5 before y'all got y'all one. So there it is.
we had some years where we struggled. We did. We definitely had some years where we struggled. But it's all right though. Look.
You see how he tried to sneak that in there though? You know, it's like he had a bad. We've been beat up all year long. Ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuses. We would have the best excuse out of every team in the NFL right now.
I'm going to come between you all real quick. I'm going to come between you all. You know, I love the fact that you mentioned Marino, because I think the comparison between Stafford and Marino is really good because they're both just excellent gunslingers. And when you watched Marino, his whole career, basically, you just looking at him, you knew he was a Hall of Famer. He was one of the greatest that ever did it, and there's no reason why you can't put Stafford into that same category, because
especially when you're giving it to people with less stats.
What have we been watching? Come on, just what have we been watching for the last 15 years or whatever? Yeah. Just whoever. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's a Hall of Famer.
Did y'all happen to see? Phillip Rivers is working out with the Colts.
Man, I don't want to hear that. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that at all.
He's 44.
See what's happened. Phillip Rivers just wants some exercise. That's all.
He wants to get away from them 10 kids.
I know, but that's what I was thinking. All them kids are taking a toll.
He needs some rest.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that on Monday, and I was just like, "Are you serious right now?"
He
ain't played in 5-6 years.
He played since 2020, but no, he's in.
I mean, I will probably say this though: in the NFL that we play in today, at 44, he probably could still play because they so soft that you know when it comes to getting hit with the quarterbacks and protecting them, they got so many rules to protect the QB. Yeah, he probably could play a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, not like he was running around much anyways.
Exactly.
When he was playing in 2020. Yeah.
I just don't want him to be a stationary target. You know.
You mentioned that, right? So, Jackson Dart right? and specifically, I want to bring up the New England game where he got hit on the sideline, right? where he got decleated on the sideline.
Yeah, he got cleaned up real nice.
Yeah, pretty good, right? Quarterbacks today are more likely, they're going to scramble and run. We know quarterbacks today is being able to run, but they're also very protected. I just want to know what y'all's take is. If a quarterback, because we also saw Herbert running up the sideline, but Dijon didn't hit him, right? Like, technically Herbert was still in bounds, but Dijon let up, right? I want to know what your take is on that, because it was kind of like they applauded Dijon for not hitting him, right? Me personally, if a quarterback is running up the sideline, he's already gained like 10 yards on you, possibly got the first down, he's in bounds. What's y'all's take on that? Because this is football.
He's a football player, ain't he?
He's a football player. I'm telling my defenders, clean him up. If it's illegal, clean him up. Like me.
Cleaned up.
Yep. Nope.
Right.
Yep. He's a football player still.
Yeah.
He's got pads on. He's got a helmet on. Mm-hmm. You get out of bounds if you don't want to get
or slide.
Knocked out. Yep. Yeah. Or slide.
That's what the slide is for.
Yep.
But if you ain't gonna slide and you running, you getting cleaned up.
Because I see too many of those plays. Mahomes was doing them plays where he would pretend he was going to slide, and then all of a sudden he's still running up the field. Or all of a sudden he's becoming the aggressor and he's putting the hit on the defender because the defender lays back.
Right.
That ain't right to me. That ain't right.
No,
so,
I agree.
You getting cleaned up. You are not supposed to be running now. So hey, you fresh game.
The league's already protecting you enough.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And that right there, that right there is my big issue, right? Like, the league protects them so much to where I think players are kind of scared to hit quarterbacks, because even if it's legal, they're afraid they might get fined. They're it's just all these things, or they're afraid that they're gonna get people are gonna criticize them, and like,
it's not right.
It's
not right.
Yeah, no, it's not. And so, like, I have big issue with that, and I was just sitting back thinking about that, and I was like, I heard a couple people, like, kind of just praising Dijon for not, hitting Herbert, and all right, fine, but like, don't make it where it's like you're gonna crucify somebody that would hit them, right? Because there was a time where you had people like Brian Dawkins on the field that would clean
Ryan
you up.
Clark,
Sean
Taylor.
Sean Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, Sean Taylor didn't care. Like, you was.
Remember when he hit the punter in the All-Pro game or whatever?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It wasn't even a real game.
No,
And so I just hate the idea of where we're looking at football where we're like, oh, thank you for not hitting that person, because that's part of, historically, that's part of the game, right?
I mean, that's what the game's about. It's a contact sport.
Yeah, when you think about Ronnie Lott, like, like Michael Irvin has the story, like, where he's like, he didn't even care about his finger. You think he cared about you?
Nope.
Exactly.
Like, he didn't care about your
life.
Not at all. Right. And even when I listen to Ryan Clark talk, where he's like, no, I had no regard for myself.
For me. They said they changed rules. They changed game rules for him.
Yeah,
because Ryan Clark was throwing his body on everybody.
Yeah, he admits, I had no regard for myself. Right, like, but that's football, contact sport. That's what it is.
That's what it is. So people I don't get that. That's what makes people not really like it the same way, because y'all making it soft. Like, now granted, I don't want nobody to be hurt. I don't want nobody to get injured or nothing like that. I ain't wishing nothing like that on nobody. But the goal is you're not supposed to get any extra yards.
Right.
Whether that means you get clinked up trying to run or we just tackle you regular. fine.
Because when I hit you, I want you to think about it next time you want to run. I want you to be looking. Like, I want you to be aware.
I don't want you to feel like you can get these 10 yards on me. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. You gonna hurt today, buddy.
Right.
So the next time you see me, you're gonna be, I ain't trying that one. I'm gonna go ahead and slide. Right. Now, like I said, if it was some illegal stuff like we've seen that's happened to quarterbacks when they slide, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, praise the person for not hitting the dude that's sliding.
Right.
But in the case of this, you free game, buddy. If you are not going to slide, you are free game.
Especially Herbert. I hate that guy.
Of course you do. Of course you. Speaking of that, so I was gonna talk about that division. Look, Denver is on this streak, and they've been getting.
They're not
wins,
playing anybody, man.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say.
Schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's gonna come out in the playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs, and then when we play a good team, it's gonna show.
Yeah, because I'm just not sold on them at all.
I'm not sold on the Patriots either. I mean, we've got the 31st easiest schedule in the NFL, and they've got the 32nd, man. So, I mean, I think the Patriots might be a little more prepared, but no, I mean, if we play the Bills, they scare me. If we play the Texans right now, they scare me. That defense is so nasty. I think the Texans can beat anybody.
Here's the thing I want y'all to think about, though. Being on how Denver's been playing all year, if it ends up being a close game, do you write them off?
No. There's something.
I'm scared
there's
to play
something
Denver
in the water.
If it's a close game. I'm scared because when I'm looking at it, they showed that they can win with adversity against them. And it's just like that's scary to take into the playoffs. It's like,
and I'm not trying to get too cocky because then I don't want it blowing up in my face and getting all super confident about my team. Maybe that's it because I've been, but no, I mean, there's nobody that wants us to succeed more than I do, but there's so many close games against just mediocre, if not terrible teams that we should have beat. I mean, the Giants, we shouldn't have had to come back from. God, I mean, that dude was tearing us up until the last quarter. And I mean, the only solid game that I saw this year was when we beat the Cowboys soundly. Yeah. And other than that, I mean, it's just been like,
even against the Raiders, I was like,
the Jets game. That Jets game. I mean, that was the worst game of the season.
But y'all beat KC, who everybody being on their junk in the beginning of the year.
So is Denver just playing to the level of their opponents?
That could be
I think they and that's not a bad thing because if they're playing a good opponent, then maybe they'll rise up to the challenge.
Right.
And I think the AFC is vulnerable this year.
Absolutely.
I think there's 3, if not 4 teams in the AFC that are better than every team in the AFC this year. I mean, you got the Seahawks. I think the Rams are better than anybody in the AFC. There's a remarkable difference between the AFC and the NFC this year. It almost reminds me of when the NFC was dominating in the 80s and 90s, and they had won like 14 Super Bowls in a row. Yeah. I don't think anybody has a chance against whoever the NFC sends to the Super Bowl this year.
I'm starting to look at it from this standpoint right here, though.
The Packers, I didn't mention that.
If I'm really breaking it down, we say like Denver ain't played nobody, but at the same time, the teams that are supposed to be the top teams aren't playing good ball.
Yeah, sure.
They're not playing good ball. So when we're looking at it from that, and I mean, let's just think about the surprises in the AFC. Mm-hmm. We didn't expect Denver to be what they are, 10-2, 10 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Didn't expect them. Dang sure didn't expect the Patriots to be on top of their division. We didn't expect Jacksonville to be on top of their division.
No,
it's another one.
Yeah. So Houston is really the only one that I'm looking at. Like, I expected Houston to I think we talked about this last week. I expected Houston to kind of be one of those 8-4, because just the way that they've looked sometimes. I feel like they should have been better, but the Colts, with the way that they were looking until now, they done dropped a few games or whatever. But when you're looking at the top teams from last year, the Ravens are looking terrible. Buffalo, they're looking like a borderline. Okay, they're okay, And then Kansas City,
They're
they
done.
wishing for a playoff hope.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at it, do you really not take Denver in the playoffs against any of those teams right now that might not even make it?
No,
Half of
sure.
those teams might not even make it. And
Denver can beat anybody in the AFC. That's fine.
So then you're looking at possibly Pittsburgh. We know they
Sure.
ain't looking good. You're looking at probably the only team, like you said, the only team I would probably say is the more scarier team out of all of them would be Houston, because that defense is real. We know Houston's got a defense. Their offense, I don't know what their offense is going through right now. They looked good the other night in the first quarter, and then they just kind of dropped off against KC real bad. I don't know what's going on with their offense, but it's not looking as great as it should be.
Offensive line.
Yeah, that's it. So when you're just breaking it down from that standpoint, it's like, even though Denver might not be playing really good against bad teams, heck, almost everybody in the AFC is a bad team. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, a big test for Denver this week is going to be, they play Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a big test.
That's going to be a big test for Denver.
Sure.
Like, this is we're going to see, because if you looked at Green Bay over the last few weeks, I mean, Love has one of the higher QBR ratings over the last 5-6 weeks.
He's starting to get his stride back again.
Yeah, he's getting his stride, and they're getting some pieces back. So with that said, this is a real big test. Now, if Denver can beat Green Bay this weekend, then I'll say, all right, I believe in Denver. I think they definitely play to the level of their opponent, and I think that they can be a scary team in the playoffs. That remains to be seen. I think that's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Another important game when we're talking about AFC teams and two teams that are really going to be tested this weekend. New England faces Buffalo. Mm-hmm. That's another one where we're going to really see, because again, like I said, Buffalo they barely won that game against Cincinnati last weekend. And if Cincinnati doesn't have two costly mistakes with those turnovers late in the game, Buffalo probably does not win that game. So this is one of those games where we're really going to see what New England is about.
Yeah, and they've already beat Buffalo once, so
yeah, they have.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah. And I guess we should have mentioned the Chargers too. They're probably another team,
Sneaky
but
good.
That's a good. They got a good coach. Their quarterback's hurt, so I think that might be one of the few things that keeps them from really, climbing deep into the playoffs. But
if their defense can step up like they did on Monday and play like they did against Philly, they will have a chance, even though they could have theoretically lost that game too. But
and that's
those turnovers were big for them.
And that's the thing that scares me about the Broncos the most, is the defense hasn't been really playing up to what they're capable of this year. They've been, everybody's been, I think there are so many examples you can give of how the defense just didn't show up. And I think Bo Nix has been the brightest spot of our season so far, because he's had to bail the defense out so many times. Mm-hmm. But and they've got playmakers on defense who have made ridiculous plays to get us back into games and stuff like that. But, man, the defense has put us into as many holes as they've pulled us out. And I think if our defense definitely needs to step up if we're going to, have a shot at winning a championship this year.
This is true. Mm-hmm. This is very true.
Well, if you like looking at the league this year, we've talked about it all year. It's been a crazy year. This has been a legit. Any team can win on any given Sunday. Like, nobody expected Tampa Bay to lose to New Orleans Saints this past weekend, but it happened.
Tampa Bay has looked bad.
Not on my bingo card. But here's the thing: Tampa Bay still leads their division, but Carolina's right there with them.
Right there.
That's a race right now, right?
Yeah.
And
they play each other this week, don't they?
Yes. And so with that said, like, we're looking at so many teams that it's scary if they make the playoffs because you just don't. It's been that type of season. Like, even when you have, I mean, think about even if you look at the Seattle game, we've talked about how good they are, how they're firing on all cylinders, and how they, look so good. That first half against Atlanta,
they were struggling.
I was like, what's going on? And then in the second half, they were like, okay, we're going to flip the switch and turn it on. But that first half didn't look like
you can't play like that against some of them better teams now.
Yeah.
I don't see Seattle can't play like that against. They're not going to be able to do that against like the Rams or Green Bay. You can't just turn that switch on. You got to keep that going the whole game. Heck, even against our 49ers. I mean, we beat them early in the year, too. Everything has been early in the year for us. But, hey, it is what it is. We getting in our own groove and our own bag.
Y'all have had quality wins. Y'all have had quality wins.
Yeah. So, but Seattle, only thing I have against with Seattle is the offense. The offense isn't as, I'm saying, that's their only weakness that I see. And
Jackson Smith and Jigba, man, that dude is
you got a good receiver, but, I've seen some things like when you play in a team like Atlanta, you should have ran the scoreboard up early.
I mean, it ended in the scoreboard being.
But the defense turned up on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like they get a lot of their momentum comes from their defensive side. Once their defense start turning that ball over, I mean, when you're playing with a short field, come on, man. Well, you better score points. You know what I'm saying?
Also, we talked about it. Atlanta on paper, they're like the team has a lot better than what they are. So talented. There's a lot of talent on that team. For whatever reason,
than what they are.
Raheem Morris is not figuring it out, or the coordinators, whatever. For whatever reason, Atlanta's not figuring it out. But it's a lot of talent on that team. So that's
they had a few injuries. They're not playing with Penix right now. We know Cousins is a bottle of mediocrity. So
yes,
let's just not.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that. That's
even though Penix wasn't looking great, he's looking better than Cousins is looking. So there's a lot of things, and they got a decent looking defense on paper wise, but the defense is just a middle of the road type team. So I thought they would be better. I didn't think they would be just this bad. But when you got your star quarterbacks injured, injuries play a big role in a lot of things. So it is what it is.
Well, there's games where it doesn't even look like they showed up. I mean,
that's a fact.
You remember that Panthers game where they lost 38-0?
Yeah, that was a shocker.
That was. There's too many games like that. You're not a good team if you're going to lose 38-0 to any team. I don't care who it is.
That's true.
Especially the Carolina Panthers.
That's true.
But the Panthers played, but Panthers been good.
Sure, that's kind of when the Panthers turned it around. So I'll give them credit. I've really enjoyed watching them every week, and but the Falcons, they've you don't know what team's going to walk out of the locker room every day, every game. Yeah,
that's true.
And the thing is, with that division being up for grabs, like really technically, this is the time where you kind of make some noise because you're like, you look at who's in front of you, right? You got Carolina and they're both hovering just above the 500 mark, right? And so this was your chance. Like this was your season to be like, we have a chance to win this division. They were like kind of one of my dark horse teams, and it's like it's not come together at all for them.
Yeah, I thought they would be a lot better than where they at right now.
Yeah,
it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. It is, but hey, that's the nature of the beast. I mean, look at Washington. We saw what they were able to do last year. We were high on them. I even picked them to win that division this year, and look.
But that's what injuries do.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels has been battling injuries all year long. That's just what happens. So
part of it.
It is what it is.
How similar is his career to RG3 now?
It's almost looking very similar.
It's mirroring.
Because his second year getting injured after the exciting rookie season. Yeah.
Yep.
It's mirroring.
I don't know what's in water. I mean, I know what happened. They shouldn't have picked up Debo. You know,
we ain't gonna blame Debo on that. We ain't gonna blame Debo on that.
What happened with Debo last year? He disappeared on the ball, all kinds of stuff, injuries. You know,
was it the Seahawks too? Because it was the Seahawks, I think, that knocked RG3 out. They're the ones that knocked.
I think it was that game.
Yeah, and that's
He
that
should have
playoff
never been.
game.
He should have never played. He should have never been playing in the playoff game in the first place.
No, yeah,
He was too banged up anyway.
Yeah,
I think I always blame Shanahan for that one.
Sure.
He messed up that man's career for that.
Yeah, and elevated Kirk Cousins, and here we are. Isn't that crazy? Kirk Cousins still doing it. But,
hey, he's the highest paid backup though. He must be.
Yeah. He did something. Man, kudos to his.
I would like to sit down and write down how much money that man's made in the last. I mean, it seems like, I mean, how long ago did RG3 come out of Baylor? I mean, it's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so
13 years, something like
13 years. That sounds right. Yeah.
2012. Yeah. Speaking of, like Baylor, or college football, the college football playoffs, and first of all, I don't know if y'all saw my video.
I'm about tired of Notre Dame. That's what I'm about to say, but
we gonna talk about Notre Dame. But y'all saw my video. I think y'all saw it.
I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alabama should not be in. I'm sorry. Like the committee, the committee by putting them in has basically contradicted themselves.
Yeah.
Based on
I agree with that.
Because 2 years ago, you couldn't put Florida State in, right? But
yeah.
I don't understand the committee's explanations, because it's all I hear is, yes, we just wanted this SEC team in because ESPN has a partnership with SEC and TV things, and we just need more SEC teams in. It's money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. And sorry, James Madison. I'm sorry, guys. I get the rule, but I don't like the fact that James Madison is in.
Actually, I do.
I don't like Tulane being. This is not college basketball. This is not
care.
Sweet. This is not college basketball where you got the Cinderellas. It doesn't work the same in college football.
Why not? It should.
Because the thing was, but I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this though. This is the thing that I have against what you're saying right now. We can sit here and assume that, but we've already known NIL has changed the game.
We talked about that, yes.
If you were talking about like back in the day, yeah, I can understand. But now NIL has changed the game. When you got teams like James Madison, this is the problem I have. But this is the problem I have. See, that thought process right there is the reason why the lesser teams are never known for anybody to go to them, because they don't get no shine, no recognition at all. If I'm going 14-0 because I'm beating whoever's on my schedule, I can't help who I play. Some of these teams don't want to play those short, small schools because they don't make money off of those games. But if you're never going to give these people chances, then it might as well just be an SEC. The big schools play each other, and that's it. Let's just give it ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. Those four conferences should only be that, because we ain't talking about the MAC. We ain't talking about
they doors blown off too.
But we ain't talking about none of these other little small school teams. They don't get a reputation to even bring in revenue, to even bring in people.
Right.
So why can't they have that? Why should be a knock on them because they play in a conference that doesn't have as enough money as SEC or whatever? Now, let's just say James Madison goes in there and they win a college football playoff game.
They won't.
Then what would we say?
They won't.
What if they do? We've seen Appalachian State beat Michigan.
Yeah, but
no, we ain't gonna. Yeah, but
no. About the playoffs, man.
I don't care where you're talking about. That's a big school losing to a school that it shouldn't even be in the same category as them.
Okay, so all right, we're gonna talk about Tulane because they lost their little thing, right? They conference thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're in. You think that Tulane should be in ahead of Texas?
No.
Okay.
If I'm talking about like that from that standpoint, no.
You think Tulane should be in ahead of even, let's talk about Vanderbilt. They only had 2 losses, and they're in the SEC.
The SEC don't matter to me like that.
Okay, but should they be in ahead of Vanderbilt?
How many losses does Tulane have?
Just the one.
Just one
loss. They lost their conference championship.
Versus a team that ain't even playing their conference championship game.
So that's okay. From that logic, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you saying that, right? I'm cool with that. Now, let's talk about Alabama, right? Mm-hmm. We watched them get blasted.
I don't think Alabama should even be in a conference in a college football playoffs.
Agreed.
They're making it off a name alone.
1,000% agree with you. 1,000% agree with you. Based on I gave Tulane game, I gave Madison, and I gave Alabama, right? And those 3 teams, I just personally feel shouldn't be in.
1 loss versus 3 loss.
The strength of schedule matter?
You can only play who's on your schedule. You can only play who's on your schedule.
In college football, based on the letter of the law.
That is another reason why I hate the way college football is. You're making my point as to how I hate it.
Based on the letter of the law, strength of schedule matters.
But no team is playing Tulane.
Based on the letter of the law.
They're not doing it. We can say the letter, but we can go off of that. Look, this is my problem. This is why I hate college
and
football
margin of victory
playoff
and margin
versus
of victory.
College basketball. The reason why I like college basketball, yes, it is 64 teams that can make it, but at least they get a chance. College football, what I hate about them is because we go back to strength of schedule. Does that matter?
Yeah.
SEC is one of the biggest is the best conference out of all college football. SEC, Big Ten. I cannot help it that Tulane doesn't play in the SEC. I can't help what happened to the Big 12, even if they're in the Big 12 or whatever. You can't help what happened to them. Yes, but Texas Tech is also ranked, what, 4?
Number 4, yeah.
Okay, then. So they ran the table in their whole entire conference. Okay, we get that. But Tulane lost 1 game. It is bad because we're going the strength of schedule matter. The hardest teams to ever play is the ones in your own conference. But because I got a conference that's weak, because all the teams in my conference is weak, I'm penalized for that. I can't help that. That has nothing to do with anything. You can only play who's on your schedule. That's where my problem with strength of schedule with some of these teams comes from. Like, because Big 12, Big 10, SEC, all those teams, they're always going to have a harder strength of schedule because they play each other in that conference, and that conference is always a power conference. You can't get around strength of schedule because it's a power conference. So that means I can sit here and say, yeah, Texas deserves to be in there over Tulane because Texas is a 3-loss team. They beat number 1 teams, but their strength of schedule is super because they're in the SEC. But my only problem is if I never see Tulane play a Texas or a Alabama, let's just say if I do see that, and I see that team beat them,
Tulane
then what would that be? So give them a chance. If they don't never get a chance, you will never see that.
That's the thing is,
it just kills the argument.
What's going to happen is these bigger schools are just not going to play the small schools either way, because if they play the small schools, but if they play the small schools, they're affected with the strength of schedule.
I mean, but think about exactly. But think about this: you got teams like Alabama. They go out every year. They're gonna play somebody that is like really low ranked. You shouldn't even be on the same field at them, like a Norfolk State or some jump like that. You look at Alabama's schedule; they always play somebody that is really like, really. That's who's on your schedule.
But
so I want to see somebody like
Alabama's one of them, unfortunately.
So let's make it fortunate and say let's just give some of these smaller schools a chance. If they are part of a conference, give them a chance. And I can't even go off the conference championship because we just seen Duke, for whatever reason, make it in their conference championship over Miami, and you know what I'm saying, these other 2-loss teams that they lost 2 in their conference too, but Duke makes it over them. Come on now. But Duke won. Duke ain't seeing the college football playoffs. We knew they weren't even going to be in there. So, it's kind of like one of those things, like, let's see what happens when you get these smaller schools to make it. At least give them a chance. They might win a college football playoff game. We never know. Yeah. We don't predict that. But if they do, then what would you say?
We'll talk about it if they do.
Well, that's see, look, yeah. But if they do go out here and win, there's nothing we're gonna be able to say. You got to give them a chance. Give them a chance.
Okay, now, go ahead, Gary.
I really don't care that much about college football. So I would rather, and I'm the same with college basketball, but I watch it. I watch the tournament because I want to see that the smaller teams have that chance to maybe upset the Cinderella stories. And if you can, and NIL's already made college football way better now than it used to be because the reason I
Agreed.
don't the reason I don't like college football is because I was tired of seeing Alabama and Georgia and LSU winning every year, And
I'm with you.
now
I get it.
that's not happening. And if we can get some small teams and maybe some Cinderella stories and stuff like that, I might actually tune in. But if it's just LSU and whatever Big Ten team they're going to destroy, or Alabama playing Notre Dame and beating them by 40 points, I mean, that's when I stopped watching college football, was when it wasn't even fair. And I think it's more competitive now. And I think if some of the smaller teams can get in, I mean, what we can always say when Boise State was, going undefeated all them years and never getting a shot at a national championship, or that year Houston went undefeated, never got a shot, or even Florida State more recently, the strength of schedule thing, if you're playing other teams that are in the top 10 all year, mainly because they are, they have that history, like the Alabamas and the Georgias and stuff like that, and them just almost getting an automatic bid anyways because of their history, I'm not, interested. But if I got some small teams, and so what if they get beat by 70 points? Give them a shot, like Adrian said, give them a look. Maybe some players that might have been thinking about other teams to play for, see this team and say, hey, that looks like a fun, those guys look like they're having fun. I want to get in on that.
And they might send those people, okay, I seen this team make it to the college football playoffs. I might be a key ingredient to go over there.
I'm as good as their guy, yeah.
My only argument against not having those lower seeded schools or lower ranked schools in there is because if you don't have that, we know everybody loves the underdog. Let's just be honest. We love an underdog.
That's who you cheer for if your own team's not in it.
I don't disagree with that.
So it's like I don't like that whole thing that they won what they did what they're supposed to do. They already get shafted because no matter what, a team like James Madison or a team like Tulane, they can run the table in their whole entire conference. They're never gonna get in the top 10 of the whole college football. It don't matter if they always got a 3-loss team or somebody that done lost because they play bigger, better schools, so they lost. And it's just like, well, if I'm undefeated because of my schedule, but you lost 3 games on your schedule, how should I be snubbed from being able to get there?
Yeah. Here, I don't disagree with anything y'all are saying. This is more of what I would want to see. Some of these, and I get it, it's kind of contradictory because I'm saying, well, the bigger schools are just not going to play the small schools. But some of these small schools that have the chances like that, I would love to see them, the ones that feel like, hey, we can really be contenders, I would love to see them in mid-season play big schools, like when, before it gets conference time, play some of the bigger schools and at least be competitive, right? I would love to see that a lot more. We have seen it, right? But I need a couple more years of that for this to get mixed up a little bit more.
I need to start right now. I needed to start right now. Why not start now? Like, why not? I mean, it ain't like they're the number. And this is my other thing. It's not like these two teams are high seeds. They're not one of the 4 that gets a bye week. They play the first week. They're lower ranked seeds, so it's okay. It's 12 teams. They're like 11 and 12, whatever. They got in. Let them play, and we see how they do. The lower seeds aren't playing the bigger, baddest teams of the season. So I mean, they are playing some conference champions or whatever. But it's just like, why not? Why not? Why not give them a chance? You know what I'm saying? And I like that idea to let them get in. You know, it would be a tragedy to see a team like that not be able to showcase what they can do. Even if they do get the doors blown off them, you know, which is it's highly. I'm not saying Tulane or James Madison is going to go out here and win. I'm just saying that at least I want to see them try, because I never know if the moon aligns the right way or the wrong way or whatever. You know, any team could beat any team at some point in time. I refuse to believe that they stand no chance. I think they got some chance, even if it's just 1%. I want to see that 1%, because I want to see something happen. They might win this and then go get their doors blown up, but I'd rather see one of these teams make it and do that than to see one of these teams that people beg to get in, and they get the doors blown off of them. Then you're just like, really?
Yeah.
That's what we was complaining about.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Let's just be honest. That's what happened with Florida State. But Florida State had people because they got snubbed out of it. So that's a problem there. They got snubbed out of it, and then they got the doors blown off of them in their bowl game. But half of their players, because they got snubbed, said we're not playing.
Yeah.
So they're not even playing with a real Florida State team. So it's like that stuff right there demoralizes players. You're there to try to be able to win something, and if I get a chance, let me do me.
Yeah. Well,
that's how I feel.
Well, you have brought up Notre Dame, and hey, look, I agree. I agree. I understand y'all's point, and, all very, very valid. Notre Dame is independent, right? And so they pretty much play the same schedule every year. They've been like that forever, right? People don't like it, right? I don't have a huge issue with it personally, because historically it's always been a thing. But for the people that do have the issue, I always say, well, what's the solution? How do we get Notre Dame to join a conference? Like, what should be done, right? Because the college football, it's not like the NFL where you have a commissioner. There's
there's nobody in charge. Yeah.
There's you just have kind of a free for all. So this is something that other college teams, there's something that has to be done, right, by somebody. Right.
Yeah.
And maybe teams got to be like, yo, I'm not playing Notre Dame or whatever. I don't, something,
Let's see. I'm gonna tell you my biggest problem with Notre Dame.
Okay.
Outside of just being independent, that is the biggest problem I do have when it comes to Notre Dame, their football team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all are taking revenue from the ACC in every other sport, but in football. Y'all don't want to be a part of their conference.
Yeah.
So technically, you are kind of an ACC team right now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to football, we ain't got no affiliation.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Commit to the ACC. Then all of it was shut up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, commit to the ACC. Win your ACC. Go ahead and win the conference championship in the ACC. And we ain't talking about y'all being snubbed out of the college football players playoff either.
But the whole conference setup is a joke anyways, man. When Texas and Oklahoma goes to SEC, and then Oregon and UCLA and USC all go to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then Colorado goes to the Pac-12, then back to the Big 12, and now there's only
there's two teams in the Pac-12.
The problem is, and Will said it. Yeah, Will said it so well. Somebody needs to take charge, and that's the problem with all of this. Is there's nobody in charge of college football. I think ESPN's running college football right now because it's like, hey, we need more meat in the SEC, so we're going to throw Texas and Oklahoma over there, and that's boasted their ratings and all the money they're getting from ads and from sponsors.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even. I agree with you that Notre Dame needs to pick a conference, and because every other sport in their college, in their university, is in the ACC, it only makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they go over there, and I mean, and they would win the ACC if they went over there more than likely.
That's the crazy part.
And
Like
that's
they
And
an
then
would
they'd
be
be
easy
so
route.
playing,
competitive in the
and they'd be
ACC
playing in the college football playoffs this
playoffs.
year.
But see, the
Yes,
problem
Yeah.
with it
So
is they're money hungry. It's about money.
there's,
They want all the revenue to
yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
College football brings in the most revenue out of,
Oh,
and if you really think about it, just think about this. They can go independent. They take all the revenue for their football because college football makes a lot of
yeah,
money.
yeah.
And then you are also a part of the ACC, which is the biggest conference in college basketball. One of the
Sure,
yeah,
biggest conferences.
sure.
So you're taking all the revenue from the ACC into that pot. From that, it's just like,
Yeah.
bro, like, why don't you just commit to this conference and
You
stop
just
with
said
this
why.
independent thing? And
Yeah.
and my other thing is, if you're gonna be independent, then why don't you just play all the hardest teams on your schedule, beat all the hard teams, go into the playoffs? We ain't got no question because you could
Well, if
technically do your schedule how
yeah,
you want.
and for the longest time, those were the hardest teams because they were playing the Miamis and the USCs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But those
yeah.
teams aren't competitive anymore. Nobody.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're all
That's true.
footnotes.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they're a joke, man.
Until then, don't complain about not making the playoffs if you're
Hmm.
not in a conference.
And
Yeah,
even then, how I feel about it when I look at the whole thing, they're talking about two teams, Miami and Notre Dame. I don't care what anybody say, damn strength of schedule or how good you've been playing later. The tiebreaker is you lost to Miami.
Hmm.
I can never put you above a team you just lost to
lost
in a
two.
tiebreak
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
I thought
Just
that.
lost two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that's. I think I agree with that.
And
I
I don't
agree with
care
that
if
a
that
lot.
was week 1 or the last week. You lost to the
Oh yeah.
team that you were in a tie with. Head to head is always going to break the tie. It's
Sure.
always how I feel. This team
Sure.
beat you in the story.
Now, here's the thing. Since they don't actually have anybody running it, but obviously you have a committee that runs the college football playoffs, which is ESPN that runs the college football
Right.
playoffs.
Right.
Couldn't they say, "Hey, look, unless you are in a conference, you can't make the college football playoffs."
They pretty much did when they didn't
Like,
let Notre Dame in.
is this that signal? Is this that them
That's
telling? That's pretty much right.
I
It's that
watched
ha-ha
every
moment.
talking head. Yeah, I watched every talking head on ESPN today, and they're almost like just representatives for their organization, and that's what they all said was
Yeah,
the Feinbaum, the Stephen A. Smiths, all of them said, "Hey, if you're not in a conference, you're not going to get into the playoffs. You're not. We're
yeah,
not going to invite you
It's
to
a
our
long
party."
shot.
Yeah, yeah,
But let's
yeah.
sure,
just be honest with you. It's kind of always been like that in college football ever since the
sure.
beginning. The college football the conference championship game has dictated a lot of teams that go to
Yeah,
play in the national championship
Yeah,
or
but
they
Notre
do
Dame
not.
was able to get in. I mean,
they
even
went
like
But when
undefeated
they get it,
though.
they had to go
Yeah,
that's
undefeated
true.
and
That's
yeah.
true.
sweep the seasons. Yes.
That
Exactly.
Manti Te'o
And
year.
they had, yep, they had Teo, Heisman Trophy candidate,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
So,
They had,
and
yeah,
this is
that
the other
was
problem is
that was the outlier.
last year they went to national championship. They got the doors beat off them, but they went.
They did. You're right. You're
That's
right.
true. That's true.
But
So it's like you
Yeah.
can still get in,
Ohio
but
State put it on.
yeah, but at the end of the day, hey, you
and maybe
made your
that's why
bed,
they
sleep
didn't
in
get
it.
invited. Yeah, they're like,
Could be.
you're not that good. We're not going to
Yeah.
bring you back. You got whooped last year.
But next year Notre Dame has pretty much everybody returning. I think they lose like
Except their
two
coach,
or
maybe.
three important players.
Yeah, he might go to the NFL from what I've seen.
Right.
Yeah, they got two or three players that are
Yeah.
pretty much going to the NFL, and then the rest are pretty much returning. So
Well,
I
hey,
don't know.
we'll see what
Cool.
you do.
Yeah.
We'll see what you do next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bye.
yeah,
Hey, sorry for you.
yeah.
I tell you what's a
Wh-
trip though.
What's up?
Indiana beating Ohio State.
Oh,
Ohio State. Yeah, yeah. That
Indiana's
was
pretty dang good ball club.
number
it's
one overall, right?
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one
That
right now. It's
NIL.
impressive what they've done the last 2
Mm-hmm.
years. Yes,
Yeah. They got
it's
a good
impressive.
coach. I'll give them that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
And that quarterback, of course, he's a baller.
Yes, he is.
yeah.
He took a shot. Oh my goodness, he took a shot at the beginning of that Ohio State game, and he
Game.
kept.
Yeah, I know exactly what shot you talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
he proved something.
yeah. He did.
So
Yeah, he did.
good, Good for them.
I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see
that.
Anybody got anything else I want to talk about? Anything that you got?
Yes, sir. Sorry, my screen went blank for a second there. I am excited about baseball, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Alonso signed with the Orioles, so the Mets just got a little bit worse. But at the same time, Skubal looks like he's going to the Dodgers. So the best pitcher in the American League is about to become a Los Angeles Dodger.
I listened to that on the MLB Network.
And the one thing I would like to take away from this is, if anyone out there is critical saying that the Dodgers are just outspending, that's garbage, because every owner is a billionaire in Major League Baseball, and they can all spend the same amount of money that the Dodgers are spending. So shut up and spend the money, or just continue to be sub 500. That's all there is to it.
And to piggyback off of that, the current owner of the Lakers is the owner of the Dodgers. And the only thing that would keep him from doing the same thing with the Lakers is the salary cap.
Exactly. Yeah, baseball's got no salary cap, so
none.
With that said, whatever is available and it looks good as a Lakers fan, I'm cool with it, because it looks like if he can spend it, he gonna spend it. So
there it is.
There you go.
There it is.
That's what I got. So, but as always, I appreciate everybody listening to the show. I appreciate y'all for joining me on the show, and enjoy some football this weekend, and enjoy some basketball, or whatever y'all want to enjoy this weekend. Have a good one, and I hope to see all y'all back next week. So, all right.
Alrighty. All right. Peace out.
You guys take care.